Failure at some point in your life is inevitable, but giving up is unforgivable. Corruption is a cancer that eats away at a citizen's faith in democracy, diminishes the instinct for innovation and creativity, already tight national budgets. Crowding out important national investments. It wastes the talent of entire generations. It scares away investments and jobs. Folks, I can tell you I've known 8 presidents, 3 of them intimately. The greatest gift is the ability to forget the bad things and focus on the good. If you need more than 10 rounds to hunt, and some argue they hunt with that many rounds, you shouldn't be hunting. If you can't get the deer in 3 shots, you shouldn't be hunting. You are an embarrassment. Fighting corruption is not just good governance. It's self-defense. It's patriotism. When my first semester grades came out, my mom and dad told me I wouldn't be playing football. In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking. Our future cannot depend on the government alone. The ultimate solutions lie in the attitudes and the actions of the American people. No fundamental social change occurs merely because government acts. It's because civil society, the conscience of a country, begins to rise up and demand change. My father used to have an expression. He'd say, "Joey, a job is about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about your place in your community." I know I'm not supposed to like muscle cars, but I like muscle cars. I used to stutter really badly. Everybody thinks it's funny. And it's not funny. It's not. The Chinese have figured out that they have a giant environmental problem. Folks in Beijing, some days, literally can't breathe. Over 1 million Chinese die prematurely every year because of air pollution. For any young democracy, the most difficult but important step is burying the legacy of tyranny and establishing an economy and a government and institutions that abide by the rule of law. Every country faces challenges to the rule of law, including my own. My dad always said, "Champ, the measure of a man is not how often he is knocked down, but how quickly he gets up." In the middle of a recession, where we're just climbing out of it, where the economy unemployment is still at 9.7%, the idea of raising taxes and reducing spending is a prescription for disaster. I have no doubt that Russia will and should remain a major source of energy supplies for Europe and the world. We didn't crumble after September 11th. We didn't falter after the Boston Marathon. But we're America. Americans will never, ever stand down. We endure. We overcome. We own the finish line. For too long in this society, we have celebrated unrestrained individualism over common community. You want to know whether we're better off? I've got a little bumper sticker for you. Osama bin Laden is dead and General Motors is alive. Osama bin Laden is dead and General Motors is alive. Osama bin Laden is dead and General Motors is alive. I was kind of secretly hoping one of my kids would go out and make $1 million. So when they put me in a home, at least I'll have a window with a view. Given a fair shot, given a fair chance, Americans have never, ever, ever, ever let their country down. Never. Never. Ordinary people like us, who do extraordinary things. I've been waiting over 40 years to come to Cyprus, and it has not disappointed, the birthplace of Aphrodite, the crossroads of civilization, and, I might add, a genuine strategic partner to the United States of America. America's commitment to collective defense under Article 5 of NATO is a sacred obligation in our view, a sacred obligation not just for now, but for all time. Reality has a way of intruding. Reality eventually intrudes on everything. The 21st century is going to be the American century. Because we lead not only by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. That is the history of the journey of America. Barack Obama is probably the most exciting candidate that either the Democratic or Republican Party has produced, at least since I've been around. He's fresh, he's new, he's insightful. Foreign policy is like human relations, only people know less about each other. In this world, emotion has become suspect. The accepted style is smooth, antiseptic, and passionless.